So I say, let's turn our back on their system, choose not to participate. The legal tender laws are unconstitutional anyway, and let's start developing our own competing currency based on sound money. To invest some of their money in silver coins and start trading amongst ourselves, maybe the bookstore can start accepting them, I think they might already, then we can have our own little patriot community. We can develop our own little counter-economy. That's what it's called, the agorism, the market, counter-economies. I think this is something that we need to do in order to offer a better alternative. And it's going to work in two ways. Not only is it going to demonstrate to the establishment that we don't need to be dependent on them, but it's also going to demonstrate to the people, and more importantly, the left, the democratic socialists, the modern-day liberals, the neoliberals. In many ways, we seek the same ends. Peace, equality under the law, higher standard of living for the masses. I seek that. Some people don't, but I would like to see everybody propped up and have a better life. But unfortunately for us, they think that the state is the best way to bring about those ends. But obviously, because of the state of our economy and the war on poverty, they're sure ain't winning that one. The state definitely isn't the best way to do that. So what we can do is not only demonstrate to the establishment that we don't need them, but also demonstrate to the masses that there's a better way to bring about our goals and to work together to fulfill and to solve our common problems. So again, I strongly recommend people not only break unconstitutional laws and just disobey them like Martin Luther King would have us do, but also to work together as a community to develop these alternatives, these parallel institutions. And I think that would definitely help us in a long way towards reaching a genuinely free society and fulfilling the philosophy of liberty.
Liberty works.
Liberty does work. It works best. So to finish up, I just want to point out on a serious note the propensity of the times in which we are living. And again, how important it is that each and every one of you participate in this battle and participate in this struggle. Because again, we've reached a point where there's a crossroads. Murray Rothbard used to speak about the inevitability of a free society coming about, the inevitability of liberty. And why he said that was because before, again, there was no inevitability of the old order and tyranny's overthrow. But once human beings got a taste for what it is to be free, he said they would never give it up. They would never voluntarily give it up. And eventually we would reach this point where we do have a genuinely free society. He wrote that back in like 1972, I believe. Well, unfortunately, since 1972, fortunately for most instances, but unfortunately for liberty, technology has rapidly increased at a very, very, very alarming rate. And while that has brought, a higher standard of living for a lot of people, and it's made our lives a little more easier and manageable, unfortunately, those that would seek to do harm to us and those that would seek to set up their own personal tyrannies for their own ends, they have a hold of this technology as well. And as I said before, they have microwave weapons. They have fusion centers, which is something we're also battling. Check out OperationDefuse.com if you want to see an endeavor that we're going to be joining on, embarking on. They have their universal health care program. They want to track every single disease. They want to get the blood of every single one of our children. They already are doing that. And they're not doing it for good reasons, ladies and gentlemen. They're not doing it to keep us alive, I can guarantee you that. That's right, Codex Alimentarius, Agenda 21. Many of y'all are well aware that the establishment, the elite that currently holds the power centers of our society right now, they want to eliminate a large portion of the population. And that's a fact. There's no conspiracy theory in that. I know this audience is probably well aware of that. So we've reached a turning point where it's basically freedom's last stand. If we don't step it up, if we don't rededicate ourselves, if we don't realize that this battle is much bigger than John Bush, it's much bigger than G. Edward Griffin, it's much bigger than each and every one of us in this room, this battle is. If we don't realize that and maybe start making a little personal sacrifice if need be, then there could be no more liberty, ever. We could reach a point where they have a technocratic dictatorship. They've disarmed the people, and there's no hope for any other rebellion or any other popular revolt. We're on the precipice of that right now, ladies and gentlemen. But I do have hope, and that hope is demonstrated by the amount of people that are in this room right here. The amount of people that would take time out of their day to come listen to myself speak, listen to G. Edward Griffin speak, and espouse the views of liberty. The tide is beginning to turn. You have the Tea Parties. Millions of people are taking to the streets. The sovereignty movement started to take on. Sheriff Mack's ideas are beginning to take foot. Unfortunately for the Obama administration and the elite in general, they're pressing their luck. They're pushing a little bit too hard, and they're starting to get the masses angry. So I do have hope, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not going to happen unless each and every one of us, again, each and every person in this room, think about it. Think about how far we've traveled since the days when the government was God, when you couldn't question the state, when there was no inevitability about the overthrow of the old order. Think about how far we've gone. Think about the sacrifice that our founding fathers made to give us the United States Constitution, which is the closest in the history of civilization that man has come to a free society. And now they're trying to take that away from us. But we're not going to let them, are we? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's crunch time. I urge you, I beg of you, rededicate yourselves to the cause of liberty and simply choose to be free. And by making that choice, in many ways, we've already won the war. Thank you.
Look at him. He's a star. The next mayor of Austin, the governor